Welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at this really fascinating engineering paper today called The Physics of Proximity.
Yeah, it is a fantastic read and honestly a bit terrifying.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack what actually happens when a 100-ton wide-body jet screams just, meters above a highway bridge. Because it's not just a loud spectacle for you when you're driving.
No, not at all.
There's this hidden, violent physics going on that is literally hammering our civil infrastructure to the absolute breaking point.
It really challenges how we intuitively think about aerodynamics. I mean, we understand that jet engines generate massive thrust, but we kind of underestimate the sheer density of the displaced air.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit, because
Yeah.
we are talking about thin air, right? How can that possibly threaten solid steel and concrete?
Well, when a massive aircraft flies that low, the air gets violently compressed in that really tight space between the fuselage and the asphalt.
Right, the ground effect pressure wave. I was trying to picture this, and it's kind of like slapping a swimming pool with a flat hand.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah, because the water trapped beneath your palm, it instantly acts like a physical barrier. It has nowhere to go. So, applied to aviation, that localized atmospheric spike hits the pavement exactly like a solid object.
Exactly. And that instantaneous downward force is what engineers are tracking right now. At hundreds of miles per hour, that localized shock wave acts as a literal hammer strike against the concrete.
Oh, wow. But wait, let's look at the engineering reality here. Aren't modern bridges designed with, massive engineering margins to handle all that extra stress?
They are, yeah. A major urban overpass is built for bumper-to-bumper semi-trucks.
So how does an aerodynamic strike bypass those heavy physical limits?
Well, a single strike actually doesn't. The real danger is the continuous rhythmic pounding. The June 2026 strain gauge readings revealed something called the engineering dead zone.
The engineering dead zone, that sounds intense.
It is. These embedded sensors measure exactly how much the steel is physically stretching. And it all comes down to the aircraft's wake vortex patterns.
Okay, so we're talking about those swirling, horizontal tornadoes rolling off the wingtips after the plane passes.
Spot on. As those turbulent vortexes hit the bridge, they create these oscillating pressure waves. And what the data showed is that in specific narrow altitude gaps, the frequency of those swirls perfectly matches the natural vibration frequency of the bridge.
Wait, really? It's an extreme scale of resonance?
Exactly.
Like a singer hitting that exact right note to shatter a wine glass, but applied to thousands of tons of steel. So it isn't just pushing the bridge down once.
Right. It is rhythmically rocking the material at its most vulnerable frequency.
Which completely neutralizes those massive engineering margins we rely on.
Yeah, it pushes the aerodynamic displacement right to the threshold of failure. The static safety buffer is basically erased.
Which explains those aggressive 2026 regulatory shifts we just saw.
Yeah, aviation authorities raising the minimum clearance heights for urban flyover zones.
Right. They are literally trying to lift the planes out of that narrow dead zone to give those vortexes room to dissipate before they slam into the concrete.
Raising the floor is a necessary first step, for sure. But the long-term reality is our aging infrastructure just wasn't designed for this. Future survival requires a massive shift to dynamic monitoring.
Meaning we can't just pour concrete and assume it's totally fine for 50 years.
No, we need embedded sensor networks inside the infrastructure to constantly measure real-time load and microfractures. Right now, inspectors just look for visible surface cracks.
Right, but the damage from this invisible pressure wave starts deep within the structure.
Exactly. We have to map the degradation as it happens.
It really reframes your daily commute. Understanding this proximity physics is what ensures your safety. Navigating a major transit hub means trusting that the structures can withstand this invisible assault from above.
It forces us to respect the high-velocity forces in our built environment, yeah.
For sure. And it leaves you wondering, the next time you are sitting in traffic on a highway overpass as a heavy jet roars overhead, consider this. As the logistics industry rapidly moves toward even heavier, next-generation autonomous cargo jets, how long until those downward pressure waves stop just rattling highway overpasses and start fracturing the underground foundations of the residential high-rises lining the flight paths? Something to think about.